I knew this day would eventually come. Being a plant lover, I have watched many go before me and suffer through this. So I know it's possible to get through it and it's gonna be fine. But I am just like, why? Why now? This is not a good time in my life for this to be happening. And if you're wondering, I mean, you probably saw the title of this video.
I found thrips.
For the first time, I have never gotten thrips before. And if you don't know, thrips are probably like the worst pest you can get. They can knock out and sweep through your plant collections so fast. They can kill plants so fast. Ugh. Okay. For some background, I was just watering my plants, just kind of like routinely. I wasn't really planning on filming a video today, but I figured may as well make content out of it and share my journey with you all. This is a little bit spontaneous. Thankfully, I just put my son down for a nap. He's still like playing in the room, but he's gonna fall asleep soon. But oh my goodness, this is not how I wanted to spend my day, my week, my month, my however long this is gonna take to eradicate this thrips infestation. But okay. So the way that I found it was, so I did notice, this makes me so sad. They're like on some of my favorite plants. Okay, they're in this room, mainly in this like shelf back there. So honestly, everything is kind of in disarray right now because I already started like acting, but then I realized, okay, I should probably slow down and process this and tell you guys about it in the moment. I would kick myself later if I didn't document this. Yeah, so I had noticed like 3 days ago, 2 days ago, that my philodendron mame was looking a little bit weird. Like I had noticed a yellowing leaf, and in my mind, I don't freak out at yellow leaves because they happen. I noticed something that was weird. I noticed that it was one of the newer leaves that was yellowing off. It's weird. And my initial gut reaction was, oh, I wonder if there's something going on with the roots. I'll set it aside and check it out later. And at the same time, I had noticed there was like one other, I think it was my philodendron dark lord, was looking like a little bit weird. Like it had dropped a couple of leaves in an abnormal spot, and it was like all on one side of the plant too. And I thought, that's really weird too, but I don't have time to check it out right now. So today I was watering plants, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get to the bottom of this and try to figure out what's going on. So I started kind of digging around with my philodendron mame, and then I had that like sudden realization of like,
Oh shoot.
I think this is thrips. Because I was like staring at the leaves. I was looking so hard at the leaves. I couldn't see anything. I was like, I don't see any pests. Like, what's going on? You know, I saw some of the extra nectaries and some dust and stuff, but I wasn't seeing pests. But I was like, I don't know, like maybe I'm just blind or something. But like there's definitely something going on with this plant. And then I actually cut off the leaf that was yellowing really badly. And then I brought it up like right up to my face. And then I saw them. I saw like 2 or 3 thrips. They're like really small, white, and they're like very slow moving, but it was undoubtedly thrips. I was like, well, I'm proud of myself because I didn't have like an extreme emotional reaction, more just like, okay, well, I actually posted to my Instagram stories. I was like, I just found thrips on my mame. This is my first time having thrips, but this means war. And that's kind of like how I'm feeling right now, honestly, is like annoyance, but I'm kind of setting aside my like worry and fear and anxiety and sadness and that sort of thing. I'm kind of compartmentalizing it because like again, philodendron mame, like this plant is one of my absolute favorite plants, and I would be devastated if I lost it, but I'm not going to react until I do actually lose the plant. If that makes sense. I'm not going to try to react preemptively. I'm going to just try to get into problem solving mode. So I already actually went on Amazon and I ordered overnight shipping, as I don't have time to go to the store today because yeah. So I'm getting some things shipped to me like Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew and more systemic granules. I think that I have a few pest treatment things on hand already, but I don't know for sure like what I have or not have. I haven't gotten that far into it, but I did start kind of poking around some of my other plants, and I've noticed there are a few other plants that have yellowing leaves that I think probably have thrips that are right here on the shelf. And you know, the thing that really, really sucks? So I was watering plants from my greenhouse cabinet and plants from this room, and a bunch of them are in the bathtub. And I looked at my Monstera albo. she has thrips. My freaking monster elbow has thrips. And it's right next to a whole bunch of other plants that I also care about that are like from the greenhouse cabinet. So I'm going to probably just treat all of them because they've all been sitting in the bathtub together for the last 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm just so frustrated. Okay.
It's gonna be fine.
I don't really know like how much I'm going to be able to do today specifically because I'm very, very busy. But as soon as things arrive, I mean, I'm just going to like film this whole process as much as I have the energy to. But let me show you like how I first discovered it. And I actually like immediately started like crumpling up the leaf, not in rage, but just like that was my like immediate reaction of seeing the thrips was just like crushing the leaf. So but I did leave it like here, I'll just show you. So I've heard that with thrips, you just have to like chop off all the affected leaves pretty much. But yeah, my immediate reaction was crumpling it up as soon as I saw the thrips. But let's see, this is my philodendron mommy. As you can see, it was like one of the most recent leaves. I was like, what the heck? So let's see if we can find any of these stupid boogers. I mean, you cannot see anything just right off the bat super easily. The lighting isn't that great either. But I'm gonna see if I can find any. I mean, I don't have like a macro lens that I can use. But as you can see, like this whole leaf is yellowed, or at least like part of it. Hang on, let me bring it up more to the light. I'm gonna have to like find it again and again and again. I keep losing it, which that's the crazy part is that it's like I only literally spotted like 2 on here and it already looks like this. I don't even know if I can show it to you because yeah, but see, it's also here. So this must be what thrips damage looks like. I swear I'm telling the truth, guys. Like, yeah, but that's thrips here. And I suspect like right here, maybe this is also thrips damage because like this was right next to the monstera elbow and the mame. And do you see this right here? I'm wondering if this is also thrip damage on my philodendron splendid. I haven't like looked super closely at it yet. But all of the plants that are surrounding this area, this El Choco Red also like lost a leaf and this newest leaf is dying. Do not fear, I do have a propagation of this in a prop box, so like I haven't lost this plant entirely. But like all of a sudden, literally this morning, like a leaf just like fell off and I noticed that this leaf was not doing well, this emergent leaf. And I don't want to like go around touching everything too much, but everything is so sus to me right now. All right, and then this is the Philodendron Dark Lord, where like on this side, there were like 3 or 4 leaves that all fell off. So yeah, I'm gonna like get some plants out of here and try to make sure I find all the thrips. So yeah, I mean, frankly, over time, I'm just gonna treat all of the plants that are right here. Like I just have to, so. But first and foremost, mame and probably the splendid, like all the ones that show like immediate signs of thrips, I'm going to treat. But here, let me also show you the bathroom where I was watering plants, you know, as you do, but I absolutely have thrips on my monstera elbow. The front of it looked fine. See, I was like, oh, it looks like it's browning a little bit, but like that's normal. But on the back, do you see that weird color on the back? And I looked closer and I noticed some thrips on there. So I'm also going to be treating that because yeah, that totally sucks. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to do a lot of research. I mean, I've watched a lot of thrips content and videos and stuff, even though I've never actually had thrips. So I have a general idea of what to do. I need to get some sort of, I mean, sometimes people will use like natural methods. I kind of want to use a chemical method first and then maybe look into more natural methods to maintain peace within my collection down the line. First things first, I just want to like
Eliminate
what's there. So systemic is probably going to be the answer. To my understanding, thrips like lay eggs inside the leaf. I also need to like chop off all of the leaves that look damaged because they probably have thrips in them and on them and all around them, which is pretty devastating. We're gonna see how much I can handle doing that, but it just might be a necessity. I think some sort of spray. So like I've heard people using Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. I might have a little bit on hand, I'm not entirely sure. So I'm gonna look and see if I do have that. I'm going to just immediately spray everything down with that first and use systemic granules and then just kind of start the treatment process. I'm sure I'll have to like scrub the leaves down and also like spray the leaves aggressively. It kind of sucks that this is happening in the wintertime because if it was during the summertime, I would take all my plants outside, spray them with the hose and like leave them outside. But since that's not the case, I cannot do that. It's like 40 degrees out. So It's fairly unfortunate timing. But yeah, from what I've gathered, like that's just based on my memory, but I might do some more research. Yeah, that's my current game plan. Let's, oh, this is not what I wanted to do. Oh, we're doing it together. At least I have you to keep me company. Okay, I actually just went downstairs and looked through all of my pest control options that I just happen to have on hand. Unfortunately, I am running low on just about everything because of course I am, but that does make me very glad that I already went ahead and ordered some stuff that will arrive tomorrow. However, I can begin like a small amount of treatment today on like the worst things, the worst plants, which is comforting to me. So the first thing, of course, I have systemic houseplant insect control from Bonide. I just happen to have that on hand, but very little amount is left. So I'm not gonna be able to do a whole lot there. I also do have Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, which I know a lot of people swear by when it comes to treating their thrips. This is just kind of the thing that immediately kills them on contact, I believe. So I'm also gonna be using this. I don't know if I'm supposed to like use a combination of things or not, so I might try to look into that. I just don't really know. But either way, I mean, there's like only this much left here. So I'm not going to be able to treat everything fully today, but my strategy is that I will use those things however much I can. I'm also going to cut off any and all of the leaves that look like they have damage, regardless of whether or not I see thrips. I am gonna use this. This I also found. It's Arbor Bio Insecticide, which I don't think, I was reading the instructions and it says it's best used like before an active outbreak, not to like treat an active outbreak. However, I think I'm gonna use this and spray it on like all of my plants that are like in the bathtub right now next to the thrip-ridden plants as a hopeful means to protect or prevent the thrips from attacking those plants as well. I don't really know how it works, but I'm gonna try it as like a preventative measure for the rest of my plants in my collection. And then maybe down the line, I'll also use this to treat other plants. I don't know, we'll see. I don't really know how it's gonna perform. I have used that a couple of times on my plants that were getting mealy bugs, and I felt like it did an okay job, at least like slowing down the infestation. You guys, I cannot believe that this is happening, but we're just gonna push through it. We're gonna push through it. It's gonna be okay. I'm telling myself that right now. But let's start with just chopping off leaves. We're gonna be a little bit ruthless and I'm gonna be a little bit heartbroken, but we're gonna do what we have to do. I can't decide if I want to chop off this entirely for only the damaged parts, but let's start with the damaged parts. That's still pretty heartbreaking, not gonna lie. That's fine, everything's fine. Oh, that's just so sad. And this has some like yellowing. I don't know if it's actually from thrips or not, because it doesn't look the same as the other plants, but let me just look at it. All right, well, we're gonna start with that. I'm trying to not like touch all of the plants because I don't want to like unwittingly pass thrips along. I'm gonna set this one aside. I'm gonna treat it, but I'm gonna set it aside. It looks pretty clear to me, and I don't want it to be sitting next to other thrips infested plants, you know? This plant already had leaves just falling off on its own, and I think it had thrips, but I don't, maybe this one. Yeah, I think that this also has thrip. Maybe you can actually see it because this is like a really dark leaf. So here, I'm gonna do my best to show you what I see. All right, I do see thrips on this plant specifically. So the first clue, so first of all, do you see, this is Philodendron Dark Lord, and you see how it's kind of like dying off? You know, it has like that like yellowish color. This one's a little bit different because the Dark Lord is kind of weird in its coloring. But if you turn the leaf over, tell me, do you see those like white dots? I'm gonna chop it off and then show you. This is really hard to show on camera. Come on, lighting, be kind to me. It's really hard to tell in the viewfinder if you can see it, but like right here, There's like slow moving white dots that are like pill shaped kind of. They're incredibly small. And I count like 5 of them on this leaf. I have no idea if you can see it or not, but I hope that you can so that you understand what to look for. Yep, and there's one up here too. But you know, they move very, very slowly. I really hope you can see that. Right where my finger is. All right, anyway, it's disgusting and I'm gonna throw it away. So definitively, Philodendron Dark Lord does have thrips. I'm gonna see if there are any other leaves that have it right off the bat. Yep, I see thrips on this bottom leaf. Those are all just going straight in the trash. Yeah, I also see them here. So that's another way to tell. Here, I'm trying to show you like all the ways. Wow, the lighting is like wild right now. Yeah, there's thrips all over this plant. So do you see how the light is shining through here? And do you happen to see, oh, these guys are moving so fast. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So do you happen to see like, I don't know if you can make out any of those silhouettes, but another way that you can find them is if you shine a light behind the leaf, you can see, oh my gosh, there's so many on this top leaf right now. That is ridiculous. Well, at this point, now that I'm like in the light, I'm seeing them all over this plant and I can't decide whether I want to like, keep it or just chuck it, or maybe I will treat it, you know? Okay, well, I'm gonna set this aside and keep going. Yeah, now that I know what to look for, now that I've seen them in person, I keep seeing them. And I hate it so much. It's definitely, they're easier to spot on the leaves that are like darker. That's for certain. Okay, I think those are all of the leaves that have like any sort of yellowing on them. Okay, now that I've chopped off all those leaves, so another thing that I can do is I can take all these plants off this, what is this piece of furniture? It's not, I don't even know what to call it. It's not quite a table. It's not like a drawer or a dresser. It's just like a piece of furniture I found on the side of the road. But anyways, I'm gonna take all the plants off of this and wipe down the surface at some point. But I think, oh my gosh, my brain is like reeling, trying to prioritize like how I should best approach this. I think, so I've got a bunch of plants in the bathtub already. I'm going to spray all of them down with the bioinsecticide specifically because most of the plants that are in the bathtub right now are plants that were not in this room. The only plant that was in this room that's currently in the bathtub is a Monstera albo, and I'm also pretty certain that that is infested with thrips, which is the big reason why I want to like treat everything with the bioinsecticide just as a protective measure. But since I don't have like a bunch of the Captain Jack's dead bug brew on hand yet, I don't want to like waste it on those plants. I want to use that specifically on the plants I know have thrips first. And then I'll move all the plants out, put them back in my room, I guess, because like where the heck am I gonna put all these plants? I don't know. And then I'm going to treat everything else with the dead bug brew and systemic, like the things that I'm pretty sure have thrips, or at least like maybe all of the things that are here on this piece of furniture because they were all in close proximity. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's do it. Let's knock it out. And then that's all I can do for today. That's all I'm gonna worry about for today. I'm gonna give these guys an extra spray for the anthurium because they were like almost touching this Monstera albo here. I hope that that's enough to discourage the thrips. All right, these are the 3 that I like specifically have spotted thrips on. So I'm going to start with treating these ones with the Captain Jack's dead bug brew and systemic, and then we'll see what I have left from there. But generally speaking, if I can, I want to see if I can keep these plants separate from the other plants. Okay, well, let's spray every inch. And then I guess I should probably also trim away on my elbow, like any part that has this brown stuff, you know? Oh, that is so frustrating. Look at all of that. Can you see that? I don't know how well you can like make out all of that brown stuff, but I suspect that that's also thrip damage. Oh my gosh, on my Monstera elbow. Seriously, I like just got this plant a few months ago too. Dream plant. Of course it gets thrips. Yeah, I can already tell that this Captain Jack's is like running out. And I'm going in with systemic. I really don't want to have to trim away the leaves of my elbow. I might wait to do that until tomorrow because I don't think I have the heart to do that today. It's too much. I think next, since I am pretty much out of the Captain Jacks already, I think that I'm going to take these plants out, put in the plants that were surrounding these plants and spray them with the bioinsecticide because that's just what I have the most of. Hi. In times like these, we need cat cuddles, right? I'm feeling pretty mentally and like emotionally exhausted after that. Eventually, I'm also going to need to like take all of these plants, like the rest of the plants that are just in this room, and spray them down. But I think I'm gonna stop filming it for now because like that just takes like an extra bit of like mental energy that I don't have to spare right now. But just know that over the course of like the next several days, I'm going to be like treating all of these plants heavily, you know, with systemic, with bioinsecticide, with Captain Jacks, all that stuff. And I will be like keeping a super close eye on things. I'll try to keep everything really nice and clean. I'm so frustrated. I'm gonna have to also like check all of the other plants in my collection, not just the ones in this room, because if you remember, I released earlier this month a video that was like me rearranging my plants and doing a bunch of other plant chores, and I don't think that I actually moved any plants from this area to anywhere else in the house. Thank the Lord. Honestly, I think that that was probably just like providence that I didn't like unknowingly, because I'm certain, like I actually filmed that. I don't know when all the things are going up. Like I'm so behind on filming and everything that I just don't know like at what point I'm gonna finish editing other videos and stuff. But I'm like almost done editing that video that I'm just talking about, like the rearranging plants thing. Like as of like in this present moment, I'm sure that it went up earlier than this one. So anyway, I filmed that video only like 2 days ago from today. So I certainly had thrips 2 days ago. And so like if I had moved something to a different spot in my collection in thrips, I just know that they spread so fast. Like that would have been disastrous. However, I am pretty sure that I did move some plants from like this area of the room over in that direction to other places in the house. So I'm gonna need to be vigilant. And obviously like, yeah, they can cross-contaminate. Heck, even just the fact that I watered them unknowingly together. Oh my gosh, that makes me like never want to water plants together ever again, like all in the bathtub like that. I mean, maybe they're all fine, but like, oh my gosh, what a freaking disaster. I admittedly, I have been like somewhat slacking in like my preventative pest measures, and I think it just sort of like slipped into complacency because I've had like mealybugs here and there over the last few months, but nothing crazy. Same for spider mites. I think there was one plant that I had outside that I ended up throwing away that had gotten spider mites, but I was like,
I'm not dealing with this, so bye.
yeah, the only pest that I've had to deal with on any sort of large scale in the last 6 months to a year, maybe even, has been mealybugs. And I've had spider mite outbreaks in the past, but I feel pretty comfortable with dealing with them. Thrips, I've never had. I've also never had scale or like whitefly or aphids or any of those other kinds of pests, knock on wood. And it's by far like the most aggressive pest out there that I personally know of. In the past, I've done more preventative measures, but as I think I was trying to say, since I just haven't really had to deal with any pests in a while, I just sort of like, I was doing like the bare minimum with my plants. I was watering them, sometimes fertilizing them, that sort of thing. But of course, I feel like fall is a very common time for pests to emerge like this, which is unfortunate. So yeah, but if you have any advice for me, please comment down below. I would happily receive it. I will also be watching every video under the sun and rewatching every video. Like actually, I remember back over the summer, maybe Becca de la Plants, she also had a thrips outbreak, her first one. She had like a whole saga following the thrips outbreak. I'm praying that mine is not that bad, but like who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I already have 3 plants that have thrips damage, the ones that I already treated. At least 3. I mean, other ones, like I didn't see thrips on them, but like I saw dying leaves. So I was like, well, maybe that's thrips too. So I don't know. We will see. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated on the journey. I will most likely film again tomorrow or like the next day. At a certain point, it's just all kind of the same thing over and over again. I'm just going to be like spraying my plants. We are beginning an unfun journey together, but at least, I don't know, are you going through a past outbreak right now? I need some solidarity. Yeah, I'll see you hopefully tomorrow as I deal with this. Or, you know, if I do wind up finding another plant that has thrips, I will also come on to let you know. It's the next day. Last night I inspected virtually all of my plants that are on this second level of my home. I did not have time to pour over the rest of my plants downstairs or anything like that, but just the plants that are on the second floor. And I did find live thrips on 2 more of my plants. Thankfully, they were both plants that were in that same corner in my guest bedroom / plant room. So it's not like I have a widespread infestation of thrips that I know of. I did not spot them anywhere else. And thankfully, the live thrips that I spotted, it was only like 2. There was no damage on those plants yet. It was on my philodendron painted lady. I spotted 2 on the newest leaf that just unfurled. There were 2 adult thrips, which I'm realizing the like skinny ones that are slightly longer and darker colored are the adult thrips, and then the ones that are like almost pill shaped and like white and really small and slow moving, I believe that's like the larva. And then yeah, they lay eggs inside the plant tissue, I believe is how it works, and then they like eat their way out. So not great, but that would make sense because the plants I saw the most damage on were the plants that had the larva. But yeah, philodendron painted lady, and then I also spotted some adult thrips on my Calathea zebrina or Gapertia zebrina, whatever you want to call it. I treated those ones with the rest of the Captain Jacks that I had last night, and then I ran out after that point. But I treated every plant in my house actually last night with the bioinsecticide, the Arbor bioinsecticide, as a preventative measure. And today, this morning, I got in my Captain Jacks and more bonide systemic granules. Here's the systemic and a lot more Captain Jacks. So I'm not here to play. I'm here to murder thrips. Another thing though, I will say, I posted to my Instagram stories that I discovered thrips for the first time, and you guys came through so much. I got just like a flood of advice and encouraging messages and people being like, don't worry. Like I thought, like I was browsing Reddit when I first got thrips, and I thought this was like the end of my plant collection, but like I got it handled within a few weeks, and I just do a lot of preventative care now to keep them at bay. And she's like, my plant collection's totally fine. And then, you know, other people are like, use the bonide systemic granules, and other people are like, yay, Captain Jacks, like you know, do that. So I think that I'm kind of doing the right thing, at least as far as a chemical approach goes. And some other people did mention that they used like a horticultural oil or a bioinsecticide, threw that in there as well. So yeah, I mean, I'll continue to do more research, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable with my approach so far, and we'll see if it works. I am afraid that I will be kind of forever paranoid about thrips just popping up again now that I've had it. I will say another thing, I don't know if you can tell, but my humidifier is running behind me. I feel like getting thrips really kicked my tail into high gear as far as plant care goes, because pretty much ever since the beginning of the summer, honestly, yeah, the vast majority of this year, most of my approach to plant care has been very much maintenance, just keeping them watered, fertilizing them sometimes, but not really doing anything too crazy. I did a few plant tour videos that were like, I need to catch up on plant tours, I need to extend all these poles and repot all these plants. But like for the most part, I feel like most of my plant care has been less pampering and more just keeping them alive, which like is serviceable, it's functional. I mean, plants should fit into your life. Your life doesn't need to revolve around your plants. However, there are certain things I feel like I was putting off, like cleaning leaves and preventative pest treatment and cleaning out my humidifier finally and like getting it running in my bedroom. A lot of people don't use humidifiers anymore. I personally still like them because I am a girl that grew up in South Florida and these Ohio winters are too dry for my skin. So I have it running in my bedroom, and I think that my plants generally also just like appreciate it. But anyway, like it got me moving and more involved with my plants. So even though the thrips are unfortunate, I am like in an odd way grateful for them for just kind of like reinvigorating my interest in my plants. And yes, it's stressful, but like now I'm like really paying attention to them again. And listen, I'm just trying to make the most of this situation, okay? I'm trying to be optimistic. I tend to be an optimist. So yeah, that's just sort of my thoughts as of right now. So my current game plan, I don't have the time to treat my plants right now because I have a meeting for work in approximately 30 minutes that I have to finish like getting ready for and then leave. So like, yeah. And then obviously I'm going to be like working the rest of the day. My evening is pretty much taken up. So, I mean, I did treat most things yesterday, either like late tonight or tomorrow or sometime. I will be spraying down all of the plants in that plant room with the Captain Jacks, making sure I'm probably going to go through like my entire plant collection and add systemic granules just as a preventative measure. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna film that whole process because again, like if I'm doing it late at night, the lighting is not gonna be good anyways. I'm gonna be not really in the mood to talk. So that's my plan. I mean, you guys know what that looks like to be treating pests and adding just spoonfuls of granules to soil. I mean, that's not anything exciting. So I'm probably not going to film that. And I'll continue to update you as time goes on with the rest of my videos. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm very thankful for the plant community for having just like an openness to give advice and to have everything out there on like how to care for plants. Because if I were doing this in a vacuum by myself, it would be a lot less fun. Maybe isn't the right word because like it's not fun at all to deal with pests, but you know what I mean. Like it would be isolating and a lot more scary. Since I know other people have gone before me and have experienced this and dealt with it successfully, I feel a bit more confident that I can also deal with it. So yeah, I'm ready to banish these thrips.